Hi guys, yes, I'm back with another video relating to WWE. Yes, so somewhat breaking news, although I think most of us know by now. So yes, last night on Raw, Triple H unveiled a new world title. Ooh, yes. So this had been rumoured for quite a while that we were going to get a new world title, even if Cody didn't win at WrestleMania to Roman, because some thought he'd win both belts and then maybe unify them the Raw after. Didn't happen, but there were still rumours floating that we were going to get another world title at some point, like a new design, and here we are. So yes, Triple H unveiled the new WWE World Heavyweight Championship on Raw. Very similar to the big gold belt we had about 10 years ago, which got retired, I think, in 2013, didn't it, at TLC. With Randy and John Cena, but yeah, they've brought it back kind of, but with a new spin. So it's got like WWE, the big fat logo right on the front. To be honest, I quite like the design. It's not quite as good as like the big gold belt that we all knew and loved, like, you know, with Edge with his 7 title reigns with it, Batista having his legendary reign with it. You know, when you think of that big gold belt, you think of those two, don't you? So but it's similar. You can tell it's definitely been heavily inspired by that belt, and I like it. I definitely like it. I like the idea. I like what Triple H's promo was. He's saying it's time for a new world title. Time for 2 champions on both brands. Roman can still keep and be undisputed Universal Champion on SmackDown or Raw, but it's time for, he even said full-time world champion on one of the 2 brands. So great. I'm looking forward to seeing who will be the first holder. He said the new champion will be crowned at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia in June, I think it is. So what are we going to do? Are we going to have a big tournament, like a King of the Ring style tournament with a final at the pay-per-view? Who's going to win? I think there's a lot of people up, and I think Cody's a good shout. He could win it. Brock, Seth cut a promo last night in front of the title, didn't he? Seth, yep. So I think Seth's a good shout. I'm trying to think who else could really. Gunther, but Gunther's very busy with the IC Championship at the minute, so maybe not Gunther just yet. I don't know, but it's exciting, man. It's exciting to see, and the World Heavyweight Championship back, and yeah, it's going to be great to have 2 world champions on separate brands. That's great, because as much as I've thoroughly enjoyed Roman's title reign for the most part, he's going to get to 1,000 days. The problem was he was holding both world titles hostage since last year's WrestleMania, and he's only been a part-time champion. You know, he didn't defend. He only had a handful of defenses last year. While they were still great matches, you know, he didn't wrestle at a bunch of shows last year, did he, Roman? Like Extreme Rules and Money in the Bank. And Backlash. Well, he did wrestle at Backlash last year, but it was a non-title match. But he's not going to be at Backlash this year, so it makes sense. Maybe his next defense is probably going to be at Night of Champions in June. But in my opinion, this is great. I've got nothing against it. It reintroduces a bit of a fresh world title competition, while Roman can do something else with with his brand. And it says whatever brand Roman goes to, because we've still got the brand split coming up, haven't we? Whatever brand Roman goes to, he'll still be he'll be undisputed Universal Champion on that brand, and the other world title, but not World Heavyweight Championship, will be on the other brand. So I'm guessing Roman will stay on SmackDown, because that's kind of been his show the last 3 years. I can't see why they'd change that. I think the World Heavyweight Championship will be Raw. That's what I think they'll do. So we'll see whether they'll announce a competition, a battle royal, a mini Royal Rumble. Who will be crowned the World Heavyweight Champion at Night of Champions? Can't wait. I only have like one slight nitpick, and this is really just a nitpick. Does this slightly devalue Roman's title reign now, because there's going to be another world champion? Because yeah, while it was a negative that Roman was only a part-time champion and he's holding both titles hostage as undisputed Universal Champion, there is also, yeah, I think, but it did make his title reign feel special, like he was the champion, the guy. But now we're going to have another world champion. Will this slightly devalue Roman's title reign, because we're going to have another world champion on the other brand? So we'll see. Because all the focus now won't be on Roman as undisputed Universal Champion. There's going to be another world champion on the other brand. So will that slightly take away the focus from Roman as champion? And maybe that's the idea. But in my opinion, when Roman loses now, it maybe won't feel as big of a deal because there'll just be another world champion, 2 world champions. So we'll see. But that's a nitpick. I still think there's way more positives than negatives here. And part of me thinks, could you imagine at Night of Champions, Roman will get to 1,000 days at Night of Champions? Could you? Just thought of it. Roman just wins the heavyweight championship. Imagine at the end of the final. He comes in, he just spears whoever's in the final and just wins the belt. Could you imagine? That would be hilarious. Oh my God, that would be hilarious. And he has 3 world titles. I could see them doing that, you know. Never say never, but no, I don't think they would. The whole reason they've introduced this belt is so someone else can have a world title run apart from Roman. So imagine if he just wins it at Night of Champions just to piss off all the fans. That would be hilarious. But right now, I think Cody and Seth are probably the 2 favourites. Maybe they'll have a match. Maybe they'll be the 2 finalists at Night of Champions and for that belt. We'll see. We'll see, guys. But yeah, it's exciting news. What are your guys? What are your thoughts on the World Heavyweight Championship being brought back after 9 long years? Well, more or less 10 years. What are your thoughts on the belt design? I think it's pretty cool. I'm not a massive fan of the big logo, but it'll grow on me. You know, I remember when the Universal Championship got unveiled in 2016, and a lot of fans were like, oh, it's disgusting. But then they grew to love it, the red belt, and then obviously the blue belt when it got changed to blue. So yeah, we'll see, guys. But yeah, thank you all for watching. What are your thoughts? Comment below. And I'll be back this weekend, guys, with Callum for our not WrestleMania, our Backlash prediction video. So, bye, guys.